First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone and salutations to the elect, which we hope to be. Quick little sit down about how, Esau will be basically taking in his own wickedness, and I'm going to get right into it. This is Psalms chapter 7, verse 15. It says, He made a pit and digged it, and fallen into the ditch which he made. So all the wickedness that Esau wanted Israel to fall by is going to come back on him. It says, verse 16, His mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violence dealings shall come down upon his own pate. Right? All these different ways to get Jake to go against each other. Now all these ways is going, is having Esau, fight against himself, and Edomites are finding out that they also too cannot. Edomites are finding out that they cannot get saved, and all these churches that they've been in all this time has been preaching a false doctrine, something that they can't even take a part of. A false doctrine, as in thinking that they can get saved too. Come to find out, they got a rude awakening coming for them. This is Job chapter 5, verse 13. It says, He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, right? And it says, And the counsel of the forward is carried headlong. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, because you got Edomites that are it's like I'm gonna read again. Job 5 and 13. It says, He taketh the wise in their own craftiness. All these different things that they set up, Esau's basically Esau's economic structure, you know what I'm saying, is falling. The ways that they thought that they was gonna rise with is falling right before their eyes, and they don't have any control of it. Everything that they try to make better to help their economic system seems like it just don't work. The same methods that they've been doing that put them in a nutshell in the first place, it's not working anymore. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 19. It says, For the wisdom of this world is foolishness, right? Because it is, everything, Esau got they always got pork or swine, for the cheap, you know what I'm saying? And it's just death. The economic system really works for the Edomites and not for everybody else, including the so-called including the other heathens that team up with Esau. They getting fucked over too. You got it's death basically all around us. And which would be the foolishness to follow after it, because as it says in Baruch 4 and 1, which I get right quick. Baruch 4 and 1, it says, This is the book of the commandments of the Most High, but everybody else want to be in the foolishness of other philosophies and stuff. And it says, And the law that endureth forever, all they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. And with you being in this world and being a fool for this world, guess what? You basically in death, and everything that's surrounded by you is pretty much death. This system, this Esau's rulership is made of death and envy, man. Back in First Chronicles chapter 3, verse 19, For the wisdom of this world is foolishness with the Most High, for it is written, He taketh the wise in their own counsel. One of Esau's blessing was the sword, and now all these other countries, that was once linked up with him, are no longer with him, and they also got swords. They also exchanged military tactics, this, that, and the other. Now all that's finna come back on Esau. You know, this is my last scripture. This is Sirach for Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 27, verse 26. It says, "Whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that setteth a trap shall be taken therein." And all these these wicked devices that Esau had put upon, like you got colleges, you know what I'm saying, you got they trying to save money by closing these stores and stuff, and really all it's doing is making is an addition and making their kingdom to fall. You know what I'm saying? Because it's about that time, and they falling upon it because pretty much Esau is doing doing what was done back in the Roman Empire, and it failed, and they doing it right now to entrap Jakes, and it's falling once again, you know. It's turning back on them. Something that they wanted to use to take us down and keep us down, but it's no longer doing that, Verse 27, it says, "He that worketh mischief, it shall fall upon him, and he shall not know whence it cometh." Right. A quick story, which thought I had written down. It's in the book of Esther, when Ammon, the Macedonian, which he was Agite, ultimately he was an Edomite, and he had Mordecai, Benjamite, and the Persian reign underneath King Asarius, a Persian king. Mordecai didn't want to bow down to him because he knew he was the enemy of the Jews. Speaking of Ammon, and Ammon basically went to his friends and created this gallows or guillotine. The main little torture instrument you see with the big blade where you put your head through the hole and stuff, and it's supposed to cut off your neck. And then later on, later on, he was the one who was in who the use for the gallows was made for him. Ultimately, he planned to do it to one of the Jews, which Mordecai or Benjaminite, but ended up it followed upon him. His weapon was used against himself. And I hope this video was edifying, and I would like to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations to the elect, which we hope to be. Shalom.